Welcome back. Today we're talking with Jeremy Chiappetta, who's the Executive Director of the Blackstone Valley Prep Memorial Academy, BVP. And we were just talking about the selection process, and it's pretty clear to me that you don't cherry pick then.
It's really frustrating because honestly, we work so hard on outreach to make sure that those families who need our program the most are most aware of it, and the data shows. I mean, with over 2,000 applications for just 200 spots.
And you have kids of all economic levels.
Absolutely.
So it's
absolutely
very poor kids, kids that are in the middle class. You have kids of all ethnicities.
Yes.
You have special education students.
Absolutely.
What percentage?
So we're at about 12% of kids have an individual education plan, which is really right at the national average.
Okay.
Rhode Island as a state has the highest identified special ed population in the country, right around 17%.
I'm aware of that. All right, but you do take special education kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are actually examples. You know, when I worked in the traditional public schools, there were kids that the traditional public school couldn't best serve. And so when I was in Providence, we actually spent tens of thousands of dollars to send some small group of students to specialized programs.
Yes.
And we do that too. So we are paying, in some cases, $60,000, $70,000 a year because they're ours. They came to our program, they started with us, and we found that we couldn't best serve them, and they needed a highly specialized program. And we're responsible for that tuition. That comes out of our operating dollars. Okay,
so I didn't realize you took the real difficult special needs students.
We do our best. We have a therapeutic learning center where we have at the elementary level some of our really needy scholars.
Sure.
Ideally it's transitional and we're getting them back in a general classroom as soon as possible. But for some scholars that's 18, 24 months or more.
Okay.
But we're taking all comers.
Okay, all comers. So you said you're oversubscribed. 2,200 people or scholars or parents, I guess it is, asked for their child to come to your schools, and you can only take 200. Why do they come?
So I think for every parent, I'm a parent, you're a parent, right? Every parent, the decisions that we're making are in the best interest of our kids, right? So I have yet to meet a parent, whether it's in Harlem or Providence or Blackstone Valley Prep, that doesn't want the very best for their kids.
That's right.
And for some, their neighborhood school and their traditional community is fabulous, and they choose that.
Okay.
For others,
they're
thriving there, and that's great. I mean, we want everyone to be in a great public school that they want to be in.
You want everybody to thrive.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. But there are clearly large numbers of folks who have there are probably 2,200 different reasons for those families of why they're choosing. Some have shared with me they truly want that academic rigor that we offer, that college prep, starting in kindergarten. College starts in kindergarten. There are some that want that. Some have told me they love the discipline and the structure of our program. They wear uniforms. We hold tight, rigid cultural expectations.
Well, when you have uniforms, there's no need to compete for the latest.
And when you have the difference that we
blouse,
have,
jacket,
the newest Jordans or whatever.
The newest Jordans.
Right, but the reality is when you have the differences that we have, when you have kids living in abject poverty and kids living middle class lives.
They come, they look the same.
Absolutely.
They're dressed the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the families are seeking us out for all kinds of reasons. Some are choosing us specifically for the diversity. They recognize that me as a parent, I want my daughter and my son and my other daughter now to be ready for the world, and the world doesn't look like them. The world looks like all kinds of difference. And there are a lot of parents who choose us because they recognize that whatever their neighborhood school is, our neighborhood schools are homogeneous, right? That those,
Yes, they are.
That they are, and we're highly stratified as a state. And we have pockets of one type living here and another type living here. And at Blackstone Valley Prep, we're bringing those families together, and I think some people do choose us for that.
Well, I was a school teacher, and I know that all kids, I was a special educator, so I know that all kids don't learn the same way. And many times in the traditional public school, we teach them kind of one way and don't individualize. There's so many different ways to read.
Right.
I actually was a reading teacher, so there's so many different ways to learn reading. But you have to say, okay, I'm not just going to teach phonics or whatever it is. I am going to try this other way. And if that doesn't work, you try another way until you can get a child to learn. Because not every child learns the same. Right?
If that were true, the work would be so much easier.
Right. And so sometimes even a different environment, a different culture makes that child, something up here, wake up and they are able to take more in and learn more. So we're not criticizing the traditional school, but not all kids learn well there.
And I would say the same is true in charter schools.
They don't maximize there. Yeah.
The same is true. I mean, I have 3 children, right? All 3 will be at BVP this fall, which I'm thrilled about. But the reality is, if it's not the best fit for one of them, because those 3 kids, they are different. They each have their own personalities, their own motivations, their own drives. And quite honestly, as a parent, I want what's best for my kids.
Absolutely.
As every parent I've ever met does.
Find the right match for them.
I need to find that right match. And that's what choice is about. And that's why, I'm a firm believer in families having school choice.
Yeah, well, I'm a firm believer in every child maximizing his potential.
Absolutely.
Wherever they find it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the strengths that you have is that you form relationships with families. You actually support parents and students, not just the student, but the family as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because that's actually fairly innovative, I think.
So in some ways it's innovative, and in other ways, quite honestly, we're just doing what the best teachers everywhere do. I think of Barbara in Providence, a good friend of mine. I worked with her. She was there early. She stayed late. She was on the phone with mom and dad of her students all the time.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to systematize so that every one of my teachers is as good as Barbara, right? And so what are we doing with families? We're doing some of the things that she did. Going out to the home and sitting down with the family at the beginning of the year. Making sure that families understand what's expected. Making sure that families know how to get homework help, right? At night, give that call.
Yeah.
We invest in infrastructure to support that.
When that math comes in the door and they don't know how to do
goodness,
it.
Right?
Yeah.
How many parents out there really know 8th grade algebra, right?
Not many, I think.
Right? I mean,
it's way in their past.
Way in the past, right? And so, giving access to those teachers, we ask our teachers to answer their phone till 9 at night.
Okay.
And there are kids who are calling at 8:55 with questions on homework. And our expectation is that the teachers are helping them or getting back to them, certainly within a business day. I mean,
So when a student, scholar,
yeah.
has a problem in the classroom or at home, there's that open dialogue between both. So the teacher knows that the child has an issue.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is.
Absolutely. I mean,
don't know what a noun is.
and I don't want to over idealize this, right? I mean, the reality is this is hard work, and the reality is we have a lot of work to improve in every aspect of our program, from family engagement to academic programming. I mean, we can always get better. But the reality is we are focused, and we are telling our families and we're telling our staff that relationship matters, and that from the beginning, from before the first day of school, we are building a partnership between scholar, teacher, and family.
Okay, and they seem to be thriving.
We are having some successes.
You're having success, which is great because, again, it's about maximizing the potential of every child so
Absolutely.
that they can get what they want out of life.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a break now, and we'll be right back.